Hello, Mr. Young. How are you today?
I'm good.
Thank you for participating in this interview.
Sure.
This is Brian Young, my personal boss and the superintendent of our school district. And Mr. Young, can you please give us your input and advice on evaluations? The good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think there's two ways for evaluations. Uh, you have your union developed evaluations that are are things that you have to do, but they're designed from the teacher standpoint, and there's certain things that you can do in that, and then there's the overall kind of a observation, which is still an evaluation, like your quick walkthrough and an observation of what's actually going on. I have like some old, just a couple years old evaluations of our staff, and these are the things where, okay, I need to meet. These are per their contract. I need to meet with you. Tell me what date you would like to meet. We go over these are the standards, the 7 areas of expectations, the California State Standards for Teaching, and then they get to pick what lesson they want to show you, which can be good, if it's good, or if it's but it's not always a good representation of what's always going on. It's kind of like the dog and pony show of what they do. I know when I was working in Nevada, we had a student or a teacher who would always say to the principal, "Oh, come in on March 1st because that's when I do that one great lesson that you really like," and he always got these good marks in that. But then the principal never went in again, so you never really knew what was happening. They are beneficial. I mean, so if you need to do 3 and 4 evaluations, you have to have evaluations if you're going to do any corrective action with a teacher. If you're going to say, well, we need to either move them or, we need to look closely at them. And so you always have to start, with your board adopted and then this teacher union adopted evaluations.
What advice do you have if there's a severe problem and you have already gone through consecutive evaluation processes and have written up those reports?
Well, that's the thing. What I like to do is you should especially in a small school district, you should know what's going on before you even have these. And I use my clipboard. I have my class schedule. And these are for my observations and instructional coaching. So if you're not in the classroom and if you're not always knowing what's going on, or at least have an idea of what's going on in the classrooms, because your job as a principal anymore is to be an instructional coach. Even though you are always putting out fires and always having to do other things, you have to be that instructional coach. And so if you just go in the once to 3 times a year, you're really not going to know what's going on in the classroom. So what I have some NCR forms which I go in and observe for 5 or 10 minutes. I can circle things. It talks about the purpose, the engagement, comments. I write down where I was, when it was. I can go over instructional things. Was there active engagement going on? Where the student work? Was there word walls? That's a goal we're doing this year, is making sure there's word walls, and is there examples of student celebration of student learning. Then I also have inside here, I have a rubric for evaluation and lessons rigor, and have information on that. I also have things for 10 questions for the art and science of teaching. So I keep a lot of these things in. I have even little things of boosting retention, a lecture, 5% for retention, up to 90% of teaching others, having the students teach each other, and things like these. And so these are my walkthrough, you would call them your 5-minute walkthrough observations. So if you're not doing these, and you just rely on these, you're not going to really know what's going on, and you can't help. Because once we do these, then hopefully you can sit and say at the next prep or whatever, hey, tell me how you thought that lesson went, and how can I help you, or what would you like to do better in that lesson? To me, that's more about ongoing evaluations. Once you get to your regular official evaluations, there hopefully shouldn't be any surprises, because you're always in the classroom, or at least trying to be in the classroom. Does that make sense? The difference
This makes
between the
excellent sense. I appreciate your
Yeah.
time and your detailed
Yeah.
attention. This is excellent feedback.
two? Right.
Thank you for supporting our professional development.
Oh,
And I
okay.
appreciate all that you do for me all the
Sure.
time, Mr. Young.
Sure.
Do you have any closing comments?
No, just like I said, everything is about follow through and knowing what's going on as much as you can, and not just about your, what, because it doesn't matter what type of evaluation you're using. You got to know, you got to be in the classroom as much as possible.
There you go, and he's a really nice boss.
Ooh, look at that.